Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Thatbloke Z, and I'm here to show you R.O.A.M. Bear in mind that all the footage that you are going to see is prototype, and it was shown on Kickstarter. So the game has received its funding, $100,000 plus, and it will now be developed properly. And it is due to be released probably 2014 is their estimation, but we'll hear more close to the date. It is a top-down shooter zombie apocalypse. And it looks a lot like Dead Nation. I imagine the finished product will as well, but there's a bit more to it. You build and scavenge and then ultimately fight and survive. It is online co-op, and at the moment they're saying that it's designed for 3 people, so you and a couple of your buddies play. Now, while you're playing, you have certain needs, with it being an actual survivor horror rather than just a run around kill everything horror. You need food, you need water, you need tools, weapons and materials, and with building you can build your own fort in any way you want, middle of the woods if you want, or you can barricade buildings, so you can walk in the middle of a city, take over a skyscraper, barricade it, and do that kind of fun stuff, whatever your preference is. Fighting, you need it's either ranged or melee, and you can use typical, like you find a Glock on the floor or an AK or something, or you can use improvised weapons, and that's where I live. I like that. And you've got character development, customization. You can do looting and NPC interactions and all that. But bearing in mind, all of this is prototyping. It is all subject to change, but they're going to keep it as close to the grain as they can. They say that everything is random maps, which means that every time you start a new game, it's going to be different every single time, which is awesome. Which is really awesome. And that the game gets harder as you get further on. You get better weapons, you get more people following you, like you can get NPCs and other survivors, and NPCs react to you, whether they're friendly or not so friendly. They react to all of your actions, and the whole game's really dynamic in that regard, which is cool. Now with the survivors, the NPCs, you can either help them and bring them to your forts and your barricaded buildings and stuff, and get them to do certain things for you. You can either kit them out and put them on missions, or tell them to come with you and a bit of extra fire support. But you need to kind of balance looking after them, because they'll need the water and food as well. So, not sure about it though, because they say that each NPC is unique, and that it has its own personality and everything. And I know that they've done this bar system between hero and outlaw, and your interactions depend on where you sit as a good or bad guy, and where they sit as a good or bad guy. But I'm not sure if they're all going to be unique, and that kind of takes away some of the randomization that they're promising. But I imagine that a lot of the game will be random, and I'm willing to completely forgive that if it comes out exactly as they intend it to. So the NPCs that you do look after and survivors, and you decide to take them under your wing, and you're kitting them out, and you're struggling to find water and stuff. If you're not meeting their morale needs and food and water and that kind of thing, they could potentially betray you or leave you. And then there's the introduction of bosses as well as the regular zombies, and they've got something called mutations as well, which is where there's quite a few different character traits, like acid blood or radiation, and then as it progressively gets harder, it'll combine them, like acrobatics with radiation, which means you need to get them away from you, but they're pretty difficult to get close, and then it'll mutate again, which means when you hit them, they bleed acid everywhere, and it could end up turning into a complete nightmare. But this game looks really good, really fun, and I very much enjoyed Dead Nation. But that was level by level, you win at the end. This seems more of a how long do you think you can make it, and with friends as well, and with it being random every time, could be very, very cool. So this is one to look out for in the future, and it is called R.O.A.M, not to be mistaken with the place. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Thatbloke Z.